Lightsabers.
Hey.
Nice.
You got your mask on today?
Now I should go grab it, huh?
If there's no Sith around, you should be okay.
Right. Is that the one that you and JB Kuma were jamming on?
I wore this in another video, but I don't remember which video. I don't think the one JB Kuma had was like a helmet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This is something I got off eBay that that helmet JB Kuma made by hand, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. It even reacts to your voice. Wow. So that's like the Jedi assassin persona type of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
If it wasn't like 90 degrees here, I'd have like the hood on and everything else.
Yeah, it's been smoldering here too. Yep. It's been hot. So how's it going?
Pretty good. Actually, I'm going to take this off. This is just to surprise you. This is too hot though.
Nice, man. You got AC in the spaceship?
No, it's just a garage. So if you hear any background noise, it's just because I've got like huge fans blowing around. But I just try to pull the AC from the house part into here.
I remember those days. That's awesome. In Florida. You got a new mic? Look at that.
Yeah. How's it sound?
It sounds really good. You got the bad boy satellite mic. That's pretty sweet.
Well, it's like a mic I had like a year ago, but I could never figure out how to use it. So I finally read the directions and figured out that it's a
XLR powered mic.
Yeah, it's powered. I figured that out a while back, but I figured out that it never sounded good. I was holding it. I was talking into the end. I found out it's a unidirectional mic, which means I got to talk into one certain part of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's like a sweet spot on that mic then.
There's like a little icon on the outside of it that says like, it like points you. And I only realized like once I looked inside of it, and read the instructions, but the instruction manual is like, it's for like 3 different mics of different types. And it's like, if you have this, do this. If you have this one, use that. And I didn't know which one I had. So I'm like, but I had to figure it out.
Nice. Yeah, it looks good. Satellite mics are the best.
I wanted to tell you something that I thought of. I hadn't thought of it before. It was about Brad's saber. Tell me if you heard this story before.
Okay.
What did you say?
It's true life.
Now you said what in tarnation? You can't handle the truth.
Like okay, so you know how on Brad's saber you did the whole interior, the whole chassis system, and you made the opening for the crystal focus LS to be precisely
maybe a little too precise, huh?
and you even made a crystal focus LS mock-up or dummy so that you could insert it and take it out. It was made out of acrylic that you sent me.
Yeah.
The funny part is, I don't know if I told you this ever before, there was another board that I needed to make that work, the PEX. Did I ever tell you that?
Oh, you needed to get the PEX in there as well.
Yeah. So.
Oh, crap.
I don't think I ever told you this, but I put it where those little doors were. The little doors that opened, and it's like the first access you have inside the chamber.
Where you pull the rod below the chamber up into the chamber, and then that little freaking transformer door or whatever pop out.
There was space behind that door.
Okay, cool.
So I could lay the PEX. I wired it. I had to wire it like a certain way, and then close the doors. That was enough space. But I thought you'd get a kick out of that you made it so precise, and I forgot to tell you. Like on some builds, you need the CEX. If we needed that, it would have been all over.
Right.
But we needed the PEX just to make the flash pop. And to get the flash to pop, you have to wire like 3 wires to it. And so I like fed the wires like up and around something. They came in. When the doors closed, everything was fine. You know what I mean? You couldn't see any of that. Or maybe he could see the PEX in there, but right below that little, it's like the port right below the main port or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever they would say in the movie.
I'm glad you had some extra room in there. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've done some old school crystal focus. Is the PEX or the CEX? Is the PEX the one that has the big copper coily transistors or whatever transformers on the top?
That's the CEX. So like that's like when you need to do like, and well, that is also a PEX, but you don't need all that. That's like for the LED builds. What I needed was just a PEX, which is a little. Here, I'll show you.
The power extender is the smaller one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right. Okay.
That wasn't too hard to get that in there, right? But I just thought you'd find that funny. That you would have accounted for it if I told you.
Well, I'm glad I put the door in there then, so that worked out. That was that was a freak accident one day. I was like, I wonder what happens if I slide this rod up in the crystal chamber. Oh, look at that! The door falls out.
And like that left a little space because of the curvature. Everything you built was round. So since you put this door and there was a little bit of space because it's round. And that's where I laid the PEX, the power extender. But nice. I wanted to tell you that for 2 reasons. Like one, to you think that was interesting, but also when I send you this LS that I have here for you, to let you know that you need that because when you plan that into whatever you're building, you're going to need that PEX to make the FOC work, the pop. The extra part of the blade in there.
I actually got one with an older Nano that I've never installed, so I've got a PEX already.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa's World is here. Thanks for being here. She's meditating, keeping the light
Melissa?
in and the dark side out the best you can.
It ain't easy these days, right?
Jedi Arms Dealer, is that you? Yes, that's Jedi Arms Dealer is here with me today. He's going to help me.
Melissa. Good to see
through like a problem that I got, but I'm just giving that saber a charge right now. But I'm having this weird issue. Like you had a name for it on the Proffie that you need to update the something threshold, swing or clash threshold.
Yeah, we just need to bump up your clash threshold because if memory serves me, it's the default is set at 1.0, which is actually pretty sensitive. And since you're running a rumble motor in there, and that was another question I had for you was the rumble motor, because I know you had it. You said it kind of worked out of the box, and so I was curious: does the rumble motor come on when you activate the blade?
Yes.
Or is okay? And
but we'll go over it too. Like I'll just make sure that when we start it up.
Yeah, unless there's some type of weird, voltage or current fluctuation in there that's happening because of the rumble motor that's interfering with the audio amplifier. That's the only other possibility. But no, I mean, if your clash threshold's still at 1, which I believe it was,
you got to try that first. Is your suggestion?
It's gonna go nuts, especially with that rumble motor. Okay. And a lot of times when you do a power down, some of those power down sounds have a lot of bass in them, and so it's probably flipping out your board.
What's going on, Devin? Devin Clark is here. Thanks.
What's
for
up,
being
Devin?
Here.
Cool, man.
There was something I wanted to tell you. What was I thinking of before? Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It was how fast that order came in from Electronics 123. Is that what it's called?
I think I got mine today, but my mail's in quarantine, so I don't get to open it for a couple days.
I kind of open it and then I go take a shower and come back. I figure the amount of days that whatever's inside has been traveling, that is probably just the outside of the box. That's like a problem.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes if I really need something. But if it's something I'm like, I can wait on that. I'll just let it chill.
Yeah.
Let it thaw out.
Like I had a package just come in from Gary at Bespin Custom Props. He sent me this
nice.
shirt, and he sent me this lightsaber.
What?
It's a JSK empty prototype of.
Ooh.
I think
With
you've seen my saber, right? Like I have a string blade. That's
I have.
one of the run sabers. He sent me this. I'm gonna like compare them in a video, kind of look at this more. Like I kept it on my counter for a few days while I well, maybe 2 days while I looked at it, and then I brought it out here to show you guys. But
let me see that brass control box. Dang, dude.
let me make my screen
Because
bigger.
I know that thing's been machined to the fullest if he did it.
And this is the prototype, so it's not even probably as finished as mine, but look how polished it is. Like mine's chromed, but this looks almost like it's chromed.
Polished aluminum. Yeah, he did it on the high-speed polisher probably. So
He's got like the room for the charge port there.
Oh, okay. Old school.
He's got the imprint that says JSK P1
Nice.
for prototype. And I love the pommel.
Oh, he really did the brass up. Oh, heck yeah. So the control box, are the lines in that machine, and it's like solid or a hollow piece?
It's a solid piece of brass, and then
that's sexy.
he has these in their final run as like lights, and they're also buttons. So
Yeah,
they're like LED light buttons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is
Nice
really cool.
work.
A cool
Yeah,
piece
his
of like
stuff.
saber
It's clean.
history, but it took about, I think it was like 20 or 30 days to get here from England, because
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like Gary kept asking me like, where's that package? Where's that package? We didn't really know because we lose track of it. Once it goes out of your home country, you kind of lose track of it.
Sure.
Like I have a package right now out for one of my subscribers, and he hasn't gotten it. I sent it out. I think it was like, I forget the date I sent out, like May 20th or something like that. And it's like going to be August 1st. I have to check with him if he pops in here, like, has it come yet? He said he was going to be away from home for a couple weeks and then check when he got home. But it's just like months to get an overseas package sometimes. Sometimes it's like 4 days, you know?
Yeah, I'm noticing if they're using DHL, it's pretty quick. But with USPS International, I think COVID's just crushing it at customs. I'm having the same thing happen.
Yeah, Melissa, it's a 666 saber. I do love the pommel grill too. That's my favorite pommel cutout. That's my favorite pommel cutout, to have that, like, those straight lines. It's very Star Wars to me.
Is he holding it in like with a tension ring, like MHS style type? Is that how he held it in there?
Yep, it's got
Nice.
the clips.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, nice work.
I was thinking maybe this stream was going to be early enough for Gary to maybe pop in, but I'm going to do like another video about that. You know what? Give me 1 second. My white Proffie is like right over there. I'm going to grab that so you could see that. Did you order the white Proffie as well?
I got 2 whites and a red.
Awesome. Let me show you what the white looks like.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll grab one. I'm going to put the white one in. Hey, be right back, Space. I'm going to show you what the whiteboard's going to go in. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, the cool thing about that saber that Gary sent, he also sent me a Proffie board.
All right.
We are going to use this as a surprise. I was just saying that Gary also sent me a Proffie board.
Wow.
Along with my Bespin Custom Props t-shirt and some other goodies that were in the box. And you know what? I always just get excited about this when I see the Proffie board has the SD card.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary, because I know that's like a huge part of it. And you need a certain one, you know.
Yeah, I got the other ones from 123 Electronics, and after I paid, I was like, did those come with SD cards? And I went back and looked, and they didn't. But at least you get to choose the fastest ones. But yeah, it is nice when they come with it.
Yeah, like when it doesn't, you could actually pick the one that really suits it. But
you've seen the chart, right?
a couple of times people have gifted me one, like Gary sent this one, and my friend Clinton sent me like 3 of them at one point. He sent me the SD cards. Now, for somebody that at the time didn't really know anything about Proffie, I'm just now all learning. That's so nice, because it's like, if you don't know you need a certain SD card, you might wonder why it's not operating properly, right? Because like,
yeah. Have you seen Dimitri's chart?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I used first to figure out early on.
Cool.
But take a look. I mean, make my screen bigger. This is real nice, I think. This is the white Proffie board. It came to me in like, I don't know, 24 hours. I don't know. Like as soon as you sent me that link, I ordered, but wasn't it like 20 hours later I had the package?
That's why I said that's faster than fast, man. I knew they were ready to go, so I was like, it shouldn't be too long. But yeah, that's. I think I got them today. Well, I went down and checked the mail today. They might have been there yesterday.
Wow, that's really cool, because we're gonna use this in a build. You know, the one where I drew it's kind of a cradle for the little Proffie board. I think because this looks almost silvered, doesn't it? It's so white, it's silver looking, and this is going to look great, like cradled in a little enclosure that I could easily like feed the wires to it, just solder the necessary wires. And if I'm correct, this is the second version, the Proffie 2.2, or whatever, the second Proffie, where you don't need certain wires, like you don't need that connection wire.
Right, the ground bridge. Yeah, that was nice.
That's so awesome. This looks so cool.
Yeah, that one is way easier to wire up for sure. I got a handful of the 1.5s that I'm just like, I'll put them in stuff, personal builds. But the 2.2 is way easier to wire up. Yeah, it's super clean looking. I had to have 2 of them. Hey, speaking of that build space,
I got 2 of them as well. I've got one for myself, and then this one's for Mike, the one you're going to do the Anakin like little cradle for. So I think Mike's going to be pretty happy.
Cool. Well, you remember that stainless, what the heck, like flexi tube I was telling you about that I ordered that was 7 millimeters OD off of eBay? Well, it came in.
Oh.
But here's my issue with
Make your screen bigger.
It's not like true gooseneck material. So when I let go of this, it doesn't hold its shape.
Okay.
It's because I was hoping I could like bend it like you would like a lamp gooseneck, right? And it would stay like that, and then we could like, I don't know, either run the wires out of it but it doesn't. So I was kind of bummed about that. It's stainless steel.
It looks pretty nice. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's badass.
I actually think you could take that negative and turn it into a positive somehow. Like there's going to be a project that you're going to be happy that it does that, maybe.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That's the thing. You can use it to run wires through a crystal chamber. That'll look badass,
Mm-hmm.
But this is what my whiteboard's going in. I've been dying to do a Kit Fisto, and I use my underwater font, the one I sent you, the Aqua Force. So the white one's going in here, and it's going to be like all clear chassis on the inside, like kind of watery. I want to do. So, yeah, that came in just in time. This actually.
Tell me some more like details if you can about what you're going to do.
Well, this is from the POC store, and it's I think it's Ultimate Works, and I think they did a really nice job on it. I missed the KR Sabers run, like I think it was a couple years ago, and so I've always wanted like a 1-to-1 version. But yeah, I'm gonna do, a lot of clear acrylic in it, and do some type of like watery looking theme on the inside, and that'll be a lot of fun doing the whole underwater Kit Fisto thing. I've always wanted to do one up of his. I think it's a really unique idea. Hey, maybe this is the one I'll make waterproof, right? Underwater.
Oh my god! Like, is that chassis going to work independently of the Saber? Like your other Sabers, kind of?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always try to do the slide out chassis just because. I mean, I like the way they look, and they're so much easier to get to stuff if I want to add or subtract or repair. But
because I could totally see like one of those Proffie blade styles, like Fett would make that, like it's like a Death Star one, or like one of the water ones that you could maybe make or get from him that go up and down, and to have it like aqua, blue, green, white, I mean, it would look sick.
That's
real nice.
Yeah, but here's the palm. I thought this was a really unique design. So it's just threaded.
Wow.
And then this almost looks like a cover tech wheel, right? But then you turn it sideways, and the sound comes out there. And then
that is beautiful, dude.
It just screws into the bottom. I've never seen a design like this. So I think Ultimate Works did a jam-up job on this.
I'm really pleased with Ultimate Works.
Me too. Yeah, I was shocked. POC store, man. Decent price, too. So, yeah, there's my first Kit Fisto. Stoked. So is anyone else joining us tonight?
Fernando might come on a little later.
Oh, yeah?
And Edmundo might come on depending on what time we are here. He's working now.
Devin says, I've always wanted to make a Fisto and use those plastic tubes with the bubbles and and use them in a chamber or something. I know what you're talking about. You mean like the wands, Devin? It's like what were those? They look a little mini lightsabers. Plastic tubes with the bubbles.
I've got one right here.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if this is a little thicker than what he means, or if this is like what. If you want these, I'll send them to you. I got like badass. 2 of them here.
I remember those. So wait, is that just an acrylic rod you bought that has that, or was it actually part of like a LED wand?
I bought this to make like a Harry Potter wand, but I bought several different types of tubing like this and ended up using like a different one when I made the wand I made.
Nice.
And I did remember getting some ones like Devin says with these bubbles, and they're right here because I keep like a little drawer full of these dumb things. But
that's actually a great idea, Devin. Thanks.
Yeah, like maybe if you had 2 of these, like, and then you built your little pieces that would kind of slide up. I don't know.
Yeah, or even put like an accent, like a high definition accent strip behind it, and you could do like, water rising effects, and it might even look like the bubbles are moving.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I mean, never discount what Jedi Arms Dealer could do, because you got like sometimes motors in your sabers and stuff.
Yeah, many lost nights of sleep. Like, how the heck am I going to pull that off? That's a great idea, Devin. Thank you. I love that.
This is the one I kind of prefer for the wand, which is just standard. If I can get one of them out of here. Because once I sand the end of that, I feel like that's a good like end of a wand.
Yeah.
You could make it all frosted.
Definitely. Yeah, Barbara's hardcore Harry Potter. Are you into it that much?
I'm like really into it. Yeah, I went to the Harry Potter world.
Yeah, I've been to both the Orlando one and now the LA one, and it's insane. The roller coaster is freaking incredible.
I got scared because it kept saying like there was like a roller coaster for Harry Potter where there was like a banking dwarf. Is that what they're called? Banking whatever troll or whatever.
Yeah.
And he keeps repeating over and over as you're standing in line. He's like, listen, this is like, if you're pregnant, don't go on this. If you get seasick, don't go on this. This is really dangerous for muggles and all this stuff. And they repeat this like 80 times while you're waiting in line. Finally, I got to the end of the line. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to get jostled around. So I stood off to the side. I was like, they're like, right in this car, right in this car. I was like, no, I want to get off. I don't want to do it. They're like, what? I was like, how do I get off? They're like, okay, just go over there.
It does flip you around upside down a couple times inside the castle. It's pretty cool.
Like they scared me with all their warnings. I should have been braver.
Space was like, I picked a bad week to get pregnant, man. That's funny. How's the charge looking on that saber?
Oh, we've been probably good to go for a while. There was something else I was going to tell you before I started with that. I gotta think for a second.
You got my link for Cal's strips.
Oh my God, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay,
I wanted to talk to you about the strips for a minute. I immediately ordered 4, but I wanted to ask you because I don't know anything about it. I just ordered them, but I want to talk to you about it and like what you think they might be like.
They're going to be incredible.
KO
They're going to be the sickest thing out there. Go ahead.
Says, been looking at Ultimate Works Unicron for my first Proffie build. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
But my Graflex was so muffled and eats the sound font that I'm unsure if I want my next hilt to be even less vented muffled. Well, if it's like designed, maybe by the picture, you kind of can't tell that it could be designed so well, like the one that Jedi Arms Dealer just held up. Like if we saw a picture, we might not know that it's very ingenious the way the pommel is. I don't know what the Unicron looks like, but I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, pull that one up. I kind of remember that one.
I mean, I love the name, you know, from Transformers. Let's see.
Right?
Oh, okay. Is this like, let me pull this up. Is this like a Darth Nihilus saber or something? The Unicron saber.
Whoops. Hold up, Space. Got to let the cat out.
Okay. Yeah, to me, this looks like a Darth Nihilus build if you painted it with black. It's really nice. Or it could be, it almost looks like an evil dark side Leia, if there was ever such a thing. Let me see if it has a description for it.
Yeah. Oh, looks like.
Oh, it is. It's
Nihilus.
Darth
right?
Nihilus inspired. Yeah. Okay. That's what it kind of looked like to me. I guess you could paint it up and make it look even more like Darth Nihilus.
Yeah, weather it up.
That is really cool. I mean, you're worried about the venting on it? Let me see if there's a picture of the back.
Pommel view.
It could be like yours. You see that pommel? It could be like kind of recessed or something.
Yeah, this one. Well, yeah, it'd have to have a pretty deep groove in it because this one's got like this crazy cool flange thing. I love the way they did this.
That is amazing.
I wonder if it's one of those where it's vented like kind of more in the middle of the hilt between the cracks type of thing. Huh.
Oh, there's something that says retention screw for blade or removable threaded greebly near the pommel can be removed for better sound venting. Okay, so there's like that greebly there that I guess you can do something with. You know, I'm never afraid to like kind of do something to it as well. You know, like you could drill another sneaky hole somewhere. I don't know, like do something sneaky. You got to think about it for a while though. Like whenever I'm going to drill into something, I don't do it immediately. I want to think about it for a while, like plan it out. And so you might be able to think of something that could help out.
I'm the same way. I sleep on it. Now that I got the micro mill, I'm not as scared as I used to be because there's no wiggle on the hole. Like, you know, like with a drill press, you got to you use your punch first, right? Give you that divot. And then, you know, most of the time it goes smoothly after that. But with the micro mill, I line it up and it goes right where I want it to. That's been nice. You got to get you those one day, Space. One of those things freaking amazing.
Yeah, definitely. How much space does it take up?
It's small. It's only like
a shoebox.
Like twice that width for the footprint of it. Because you got your X and Y, and so the tray slides this way quite a bit, back, you know, to the left and right. But yeah, it's like that's a good comparison. Double the width, double the size, footprint of a shoebox. That's about perfect.
That's cool. Yeah,
it's not big at all.
I should definitely try something like that. Is that like computer controlled? Like, how does that?
You can computer control it. Mine's just manual. I just use the increments on the dials, and you can get super exact with it. I think it's almost kind of more fun when it's manual because you can just do whatever you want. But yeah, you can add motors and a CNC card, you know, little card to it that runs the motors, and then you interface it USB into your computer, and it'll use most CNC software. But it's like $100 upgrade to do all that.
Nice.
One day.
So as soon as you sent me that link, which is like pretty much what I always do, is like I just immediately order. Like I don't even know what. Sometimes you send me the link. Like when we're working on a Saber, you're like, here's a little like USB dongle. I'm like, all right, I'll order 10 of those. Like I don't know.
That's funny.
So as soon as you sent me the link, I was like kind of waiting for that. I ordered 4 of them or something like that. Now, when it says 250 whatever LEDs, we're talking about on this hard strip of the KR Saber's blade thing. It's double-sided, because I didn't see a picture that kind of told me that. So
yeah, it's literally a rigid PCB with a thick copper strip that runs down the middle of it. So you're gonna have 0 voltage and current loss across the strip. You don't have to worry about that. Like with the skinny strips, you know, sometimes with the skinny strips, if you get a cheaper brand, you've probably seen it where it'll get a little kind of like yellowish off-white towards the end of the blade when you're trying to, like, some of the Chinese manufacturer skinny strips, the 3535s, you know, they're real hard to get super white from, you know, end to end. You won't have that. You won't have that with these at all. And I believe these are the full size pixels. They're not.
They're like the 50/50s, but supposedly on something that's not very wide, not as wide as the, you know, normal 50/50 strip.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully minimal shadowing because they are on a skinny PCB board. But the beautiful thing about them is there's no solder joint that you're dealing with. And because of that, the pixel density is closer together. And so you get more pixels per side. That's why, what was it,
256?
Was it 256?
But does that mean that I'm stuck with whatever length they chose? Or like, can I, like I can't cut it?
No.
How long is it?
I think he said they would fit. I think he was going for like, you know, not that you should duel with them, but he was going for like dueling TSA standard, which was 36 inches.
Okay. That's,
I believe,
kind of long for most people, I think. But,
yeah. I guess I guess you have to have, is that the rule? You have to have someone in the chat if they know, you got to have a 36-inch blade for TSA.
Oh. Okay.
Because it's standardized for like championship dueling. So I think that's what he was going for. Now he is going to come out with other sizes later where there's discussions about that. But he just wanted to get them out there, and they're going to be badass. They're going to be, you know, the brightest thing out there. The thing I'm excited about is the pixel density. It's more than 144 per meter. So your animations are going to be crystal clear.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling everybody's going to kind of want to. I mean, unless you want a shorter blade, I think, you know, everyone's going to want something like that. It just seems to make sense.
What do you think about the fact that it's like rigid, like when the blade can bend in real life?
Yeah, he right on the website says these aren't certified for any type of dueling. So, I do think if you smack it hard enough in a standard thickness blade, you could crack the PCB. That's totally possible.
Because I do like the fact that there's flex in like this, you know, the standard strip. It's kind of nice that this flex, especially when you're just building like a 2-strip blade, because, you know, it's kind of like you've played with the, you know, you've handled the assembly before it goes in the blade, and it's like you can manipulate it a bit, you know, it's bendable.
Right.
So yeah, that was the one concern, or the couple concerns, but I'm going to try them out. You know, I think like for a lot of my customers, they want to choose the length. So
true.
Like a lot of people want like 30, 32, like Michael Murphy, Yoda on FX Sabers, his standard is 32. And I make the blades for all his like Graflex builds and stuff for the Crystal Focus. They're all going to be 32, you know, so.
You could put. I might be wrong about the 36. I swear that's what it was. But you can pull up, you know, the Rebel Army real quick and go to the strip part, and he's got it in the descriptions, or the Saber Armory. Sorry. Let's see. I'm gonna try to go there on the phone. Are you doing it right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
see.
That's what I remember from the early development when he got his first prototype in. They were going to be 36, but maybe he changed his mind because a lot of people were kind of like, "Oh, that's a little bit long for me." But I want to say the reasoning was not that you can duel with him,
Right.
he was real
just
clear
to have
about
like
that.
the most dense and real looking, brightest thing, probably.
Right.
Was the idea.
And the argument is in the Star Wars universe is that 30. I don't know. Like, I hear a lot of people when they start debating the actual on-screen accurate blade length, it usually averages out to 36. But I agree with you. Like, that is a bit long if you're trying to spin something indoors.
Like, I have a lightsaber, like the one we're working on tonight for Marc, is got like almost a 3-inch deep emitter, which, like, you know, I could see that. Like,
yeah, there you go. There's that variable too.
I'm seeing. I don't see how long it is just yet. Oh, okay. It's 88 centimeters.
Do the conversion real quick on that.
Now I need to figure out how
Here, I got you.
Okay.
Let's see. 88 centimeters, 2 inches. All right, here we go. Bam. 34.6.
Okay. That's acceptable. I like it. So I guess the blade would end up being like 35, 30.
Yeah,
no, it would end up being 36 because you're going to have like a little bit of wires at the end and you're going to have the tip. So it's going to end up being 36. But yeah, right. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I didn't check if it's cuttable. You're saying it's not cuttable?
No, because it's a rigid PCB with the, you know, all the copper strips that run up the inside of the PCB, so no trimmable yet. Nice.
Data line is pre-resisted. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so no more got to add the resistor to the connector. I asked him a while ago, I sent him a message, and it was like, you know, hey, Cal, how cool would it be if you somehow figured out a way to get these mass produced to where the circular 3-ring PCB, the actual blade connector, was permanently attached to the bottom of the strip. So that would eliminate even having to solder it. You follow me?
Say what you said again. I was like reading something.
Oh, that's all right. I messaged Cal and I was like, how hard would it be to go ahead and have these the 3-ring blade connector permanently attached to the bottom of the rigid PCB that is, you know, hardwired and everything.
Yeah.
From the factory, so you don't even have to like. So he's like maybe down the road, but for now, I'm just gonna leave it to where they're 2 separate pieces, and you got to do that part of the work.
I see. So, is it double-sided? Because like I'm a little confused now because now totally. I'm reading that if using Proffie verso CFX, etc., you must define the amount of LED pixels in your config as 264. So does that mean there's 264 on each side? Correct. Or you need to buy 2 of these? I'm confused.
I'm pretty positive it's double-sided. I thought that was kind of the whole concept, was like making it super easy.
I wonder why, if it's double-sided, he wouldn't say 500.
God, you're right. That's a lot of pixels. Is it that dense? Like,
you know what I'm
saying?
Saying?
Close together they are.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it really 264 in 88 centimeters?
I think so. Because the pixels are butted right up against one another.
Okay, because when I first read it, I'm thinking, okay, you have to take 264 and go in half.
Well,
but no, I guess it's 264. But I don't know. Like, I would have advertised it as set your Proffie to 264, but this blade has 528 LEDs.
Right, total. Well, when you take the 264 and divide it by 2, it's 132, right? So that would be less than 144, so for sure it's the...
Yeah, but 144 is a meter and not 36 inches.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but if he's telling you to plug that number into all the configs, then that's just for one side. of the
Like
the pre-older
something's
strips.
That's why I'm just thinking like, I don't know, either something's a mistake or I'm just wrong about something.
Okay.
Because like
That does seem like a lot of pixels in 88
and
centimeters.
Like the price seems like one of the reasons why I bought 4 of them is because I'm thinking like you need 2 of these to make a blade. That's not really clear here, but I just assumed that.
Yeah.
I hope that you're right, where it's like just double-sided, so it'll be so effing easy. But if so, there should be like a side picture so I could see that there's bumps on both sides. I'm kind of thinking
that is a lot of pixels. 256. That's a shit ton of pixels, actually.
I think
that was the beauty.
I think it's double-sided, but you have to. But there's a mistake in the instructions to set your Proffie to 264. Okay. I think it means set your Proffie to 132.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, you're gonna get them fast because he ships everything DHL.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it did say DHL.
Yeah, it should be there in a week.
Let me see if maybe somebody here knows.
Yeah, if anyone in the chat's been following these strips, let us know. On the
Melissa's
pixel
World
density.
Says she's getting a 26-inch blade made by Megtooth.
I just want to see that pixel
Devin
density.
says yes, they're double-sided.
Okay.
That's 132 each side. Okay, well, just small mistake in the description then of the, like what to set your Proffie board to. Because if you set your Proffie board to 264, I don't know what's going to happen. Like you're never going to see blade drag tip or anything like that.
I don't think you can. There is actually a pixel limit programmed into the Proffie, and I thought
like on
CFX.
On CFX, it's 180, but on Proffie, I'm too new to know what that number is. But
because you don't want to over amp your board, trying to push that many. If you were to hook a huge, like a double strip up to it or 4 strips,
yeah.
Which I guess like you'd have to keep an eye on that space if you were going to design like that cosplay Neopixel suit you were talking about. You'd have to sort of keep a watchful eye on
definitely
how many pixels you're loading it up with.
Well, I was thinking with something like that and the Proffie board, I would have different channels. So like the arms would be one channel, the legs would be like another channel, and you might even have to have like multiple Proffie boards to make it like a real light suit happen. But it's super possible. It would work for like 30 or 40 minutes, I think.
Right. Unless you drug around a car battery behind you.
Yeah. Cheto's Born says, I believe 10 millimeters wide. He's not certain. Like if it's 10 millimeters wide, that's still wider than my skinny strips. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy to try it out. I want these to be incredible. I hope it's like awesome. I hope it's so awesome. I think it's going to be super great with the density, with the size, with those brighter LEDs. I'll probably make myself a blade and test it out.
There you go. I think the top, he even domed the top of it like it's rounded.
I know. I saw. So it's going to sit right in the parabolic, right? Or it'll like the parabolic tip will kind of push into that, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that, and it doesn't rip your foam when you're like, pushing it up in there. Because I'll trim the top corners of mine like at a 45, so it goes up inside the foam a little smoother. Because I've ripped foam before.
Mm.
You know what I really miss is that I wish someone would come out with the Master Replicas foam, because it had that was
like
great.
The indentation was like perfect for the Neopixel with
and it helped with the shadowing because like it was thinner on the sides.
Yeah, and it like carried the light around. I felt like
I
felt like it did a great job with that. I had like so many of those that I used over time with like different Neopixel builds.
Me too. Yep.
I would buy those off eBay when I see that.
Yeah, I started messaging people, hey, if you guys are, throwing your blades away, I'm your guy.
Devin Clark says it comes out to being slightly more dense than a regular 144 per meter and no break halfway, which is nice. Yeah, that break halfway cost me so much time because there came a point where I decided I wasn't going to take it anymore. and I was going to just fix that every single time, and that slowed down my blade production a little bit, because like now that I'll sever the blade at that point and resolder and have to test.
I remember you telling me that.
It takes a little bit of time, but yeah, like I took care of that issue on my own, but it sucks because it's like you have to do work. You know?
Yeah.
It's nice that he does.
What I've been doing is I cut, like, let's see, if I'm doing like 134 or 124 pixels, I'll say cut 20 pixels off the bottom of one strip, and then I'll cut 20 pixels off the top of the other one. And then that solder joint
is like off,
is in a different
kilter.
position. Yeah. So it's just barely noticeable on one side at very different parts of the blade.
And sometimes you get really lucky where like whoever did the joining originally like did it really well.
Yeah.
And it's like very close. Other times it's like awful and like up to this, it's like not even lined up properly. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, it's all wonky and crooked. How's the Adafruit stuff that way? Is it pretty consistent?
No, it's like it's the same. We're like sometimes it's fantastic, and then there was like one order. Like I usually order 10 at a time. Like as soon as you order 10, you get the discount a couple dollars off each one. So instead of like $65, it'll be like 59 or something like that.
Okay.
So there was one package of 10 where it was all terrible. It was terrible. It was like one meter even had like 4 joints.
What?
I was so pissed off. I was so mad.
Yeah.
Like there was like, and the whole order was like that. I was like, what the hell? I was so mad. I had to do so much work to fix it. And then like when that's going on, like you can't trust those LEDs wholeheartedly. Because there's like heat hurts it.
Yeah. Plus those are weak points at all, in any blade. If you got 4 solder joints in there, that sucks. That's weird. So I've always wanted to ask you, what do you feel is kind of the upgrade in quality with the Adafruit stuff? Because it is quite a bit more expensive than the cheaper Chinese strips.
Yeah, it's like there's no real like data or like known quantity other than
it's stateside.
Like when I use those, I have less issues than the other types.
Interesting.
So,
less failure rates.
Yeah. So like there's been a couple times where a blade has come back. The blade was the cheaper type.
Right.
And the couple times I tested myself, or I made myself a blade, I was like, let me make myself a blade with the cheaper type so I could test it. And like something would go wrong. So I was like, but sometimes I think they're exactly the same,
Unless they're using better and thicker copper in the Adafruit.
Well, yeah, like
I noticed that's the weak thing.
Yeah, like I know they're really not the same because when you are working with it, you can tell. Like sometimes the simple tell is that like the positive and negative are on the opposite side. Like the positive is on the non-chip side on some of these cheaper strips. Adafruit is always the positive has the chip. And then there's just other things that you could tell by looking at it, by working with it. It's like it's different. But as far as like, is it better? I don't really know. I have like enough. It's kind of like, how do you say it when you're like when the data is like really shaky? It's just like, oh, like when I see like blades come back, I'm like, oh, that was the one I made early on that had those other strips. I'm like, or it's like those type of things. I'm not totally sure. Like there was one person I made a blade for, like, it was a really long blade, like 39 inches, and it kept failing. It was those. I don't know why, if it's that or it's hard to tell like what went wrong. Is it the little chip? I've seen a little chip go bad sometimes, but I feel like there's just more trust with the Adafruit ones, especially like I said, because they come and I see that there's differences. Not that I know like whether or not the copper's thicker or whatever. I don't specifically know that, but I just have had less like problems. Yeah, even though sometimes, like I said, they piss me off. Sometimes they come and they're all fakakta, they're all like messed up. But
yeah, I've noticed that too with the cheaper Chinese ones. Is the data, all it needs to do is just be broken in one of the pixels in the strip, and that's it. It's done.
Yeah, like there's different models of the 3535 strips, and it's like it's hard to keep track of which ones have that like refresh rate that you need, and you know, all that particular stuff. So I know that the Adafruit ones are like the most up to date as far as their stock or whatever.
Right. You know they're going to work on all the variations of boards.
Nick Krasuski says, for a strip like that, if you have to program 264 pixels, how does that affect the effects on it? Well, if you did program 264, it would think that the end of the blade is like, let's say 260 to 264. And since you don't have a 260 to 264, you won't see those like end of blade effects, or you wouldn't see like laser blasts that went off after your blade actually ended. So if your blade ends at 132 and you program 264, you just won't see those effects that happen in the next number set.
Tip drag.
Yeah.
The door cutter, that kind of stuff.
Wonder if that would affect the flame effect with the spacing being closer between. Oh. I think it's going to look better. I think it's going to make the flame effect look better, and like Jedi Arms Dealer said, probably like a smoother blade.
I can't wait to see it.
Because that color is going to be fuller, and from what you said about the white, to have the white be more powerful or be more proper, consistent throughout the blade, that whatever effect it's going to be is going to look better. And it's just going to look better overall.
Better contrast between the colors. Yeah.
That's going to be nice. That might be the future. You know, like, I guess the one reason why I am unsure about the rigidity or the rigidity thing, because I ordered some of those NEC strips, and the rigidity seemed to be like a problem with it. Like, they didn't work. And I was like, is it because they're rigid? But they were also held together by, like, I don't know, a certain electronic like tape that, if you remember, they kind of unfolded when you ordered your box. They came in like a smaller box, and you kind of unfolded it. And I think that that's part of what went wrong. I'm just not sure, because they were all supposed to be tested, but everyone that I talked to says they just didn't work right. So
yeah,
it's really unfortunate.
I've got a blown out set here that I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. I haven't even figured out if I can cut them apart and use them for accents. We'll see.
That when I inspected it too, I was pretty sure I couldn't cut them either. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And yeah, we'll see. Because I like the old Master Replica segmented string blades were a rigid PCB, and you smack that hard enough one time and it was done. You start losing 1 out of 6, 2 out of 6 banks on the old Master Replicas. I remember that. So we'll see. I don't know if what Cal has posted as far as videos for durability, but he says right in there, probably light to medium. You don't want to go gorilla, right? Yeah. Maybe just like accidental hits is okay, but
yeah. Oh, I did mean to ask you. I sent you an eBay link a while ago, like at the peak of COVID when we were having trouble getting strips for the 3535s. Did you ever get?
I ordered like 8 of those and used them.
Cool. They came in. I couldn't get any, and it was like, why are these coming in and no one else is? So that was cool. Cool. I'm glad you. I'm glad.
And yours came in too, you said?
Oh yeah, I love them. They've been great. No issues.
Same here. Yeah.
That's cool then. Kind of got you through.
Definitely.
Because eBay is always a little weird.
So what I have in this Saber to add the second speaker is like one of these connectors.
Do not know why that wouldn't work perfectly. I think that's a great idea.
And
blade connector.
So I've got like one on the data and one on the outer, like the data's the inner ring and the outer ring's the positive. So I just did it just to keep them from crossing ever.
Yep.
So I'll show you like what happens here. This is like, I don't know. I guess you know what's going to happen, but let me just show everybody. It's like sometimes
so-
the second speaker
Go ahead.
works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think.
Well, that's another question I have for you. I mean, you're obviously using two different speakers, right? You got a premium flat in there, correct?
What is? I have a.
Like, it's not a bass
20
speaker, the one that's up top.
Right, that's like a 3-watt mini type speaker. I think it's 22 millimeters.
And it's 4 ohms or 8 ohms.
I can go grab another one and kind of look at the back of it.
Because hopefully and I think you and I have talked about this when we ordered the 8 ohm speakers off of eBay, the bass speakers.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have 2 8s, and then when you wire in parallel, you get to 4 ohms. If you've got one in there that's 8 ohms and another one that's 4 ohms, you're going to end up at when you wire them in parallel, you're going to end up around 6 ohms, which would still be fine. Where you run into an issue is if you have 2 4 ohm speakers and you wire them in parallel, then you're at 2 ohms and you can blow your amplifier.
I hope I'm not doing that. Should I go check at what?
Your amplifier would be getting really hot on the board if that were happening. So, yeah,
let me go look at like one of the speakers that I.
Yeah, it's very important that we know you're working with 2 8 ohm speakers. Very important.
Because I'm not sure. I'm using a customer supplied speaker in the Pommel 2, and maybe I should look. I took a picture before I covered that back of it. I should find that picture. Crap. It's a 4 ohm.
And so what's the bass speaker? Both of them are 4 ohm?
Well, I know the forward one is 4. So
Okay.
you're saying I could fix it if I adjust the bottom one?
Well,
let me see
do you know what the bottom one is? Because if you're using 2 4 ohms, you'll blow that amplifier. If you've got it wired in parallel, is that how you have it wired? Both your positive goes to both positives and negative goes to both negatives?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, if you're using 2 4 ohms, you're gonna fry that amplifier.
Okay, good thing I didn't turn it on for long at all. Let me see.
And that's scenario number B. Number B. Yeah, that might be you're heating up. It's just strange that it's only doing it on power down. That doesn't make sense to me.
The retraction is what sets it off. So
yeah.
Yeah, this could take a second to find this because I take a picture of every stage of the build and then I have 1,000 pictures,
That's smart. Now, is the polarity labeled on both of those speakers?
No.
That could be. It shouldn't. Yeah.
Because I know some of those speakers come where it's black and red wires on it, but these weren't like that.
I don't think that'll matter because we're working in mono with just a single channel. But my brain's going back to my car stereo installation days, and those were things like you can't mess with the polarity unless you needed to for a bass box or something. But yeah, if you're finding the bottoms of them both of them are stamped Well, you know what might be easier, Spaces? Can you get a multimeter on it?
Yeah,
Do that. Then you don't
that'll
have to take
just
it apart. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you mean to find out the ohms or to find out?
Yes, the
Okay.
impedance.
Because to change that forward speaker would be like basically impossible unless I redid the whole thing. But to change the bottom speaker is no big deal at all.
Well, if that one turns out the bottom bass speaker turns out to be, it is a bass speaker, right?
Right.
Yeah, if it turns out to be 4 ohms, then yes, you need to drop one of those 8 ohm suckers we got on eBay. Those are nice.
Okay, I got one of those. Yeah, I was trying to use this one, which is like a JBL from a Marc from the customer. He sent it in, and it sounds awesome for a minute. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, the JBL stuff is very nice. Yeah, I would think you could just drop an ohm meter on there and see if it reads 4 or 8 ish. They're never exact, but you'll know your ballpark. Although, if you've already have it wired in parallel, it's going to read the 2 speakers together. That's okay. Then we'll know where you're at in total. Because I'll usually test the speaker with an ohm meter anyways before I install it, just because I don't want to fry the amp. If you get a bad speaker where the voice coil, for whatever reason, is reading 2 ohms, you can fry an amp on a soundboard. Ooh. So I check them all. They're not perfect.
I think I'm getting closer. I see build pics.
As in, you think you got a shot of the bottom of that speaker?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, I got
it. JBL.
Oh, wait. Can I read it? Looks like it's a 2-watt. There's another picture of that.
I don't know. Well, JBL's going to be home stereo. Most of those are 8 ohm. It's your car audio that's 4 ohm.
I thought I remember being happy with the with the ohm, but that shot I can't see it either. I see 2-watt. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll test it.
I'll say just throw an ohm meter on there. We'll see if you're below 4 ohms total. I would think if you can get to the plus and minus with your leads. Because that should read the whole system, both speakers, when you connect your leads up.
Well, you mean I need power to the speaker? Because I can't, since I have this situation, I'm just going to be reading one speaker because I can't read them both, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, still, we'll know at least, because you know for sure that the premium thin is 4 ohms. And so, yeah, check the impedance on that blade connector setup you got. That's actually pretty cool.
I think it's 4.
Oof.
.9. I guess it's 4. 4.
Yeah.
Okay, 4.
Yeah, if you're running them in parallel, you're going to heat up that amp.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Should we make whatever change that you prescribed before I, change the speaker out?
Yeah, I
on the
definitely
bottom
think
there?
I definitely think since you're running a rumble motor, we need to bump up your clash threshold. There's no way it's going to be smooth on 1.0.
Because I
So
think you said
we
you
could do that.
detected in one of the videos that it wasn't like it was, and I think I saw that too, where it was like, like when I was spinning it, it was like clashing.
Yeah, and you weren't trying to do a clash because I noticed when you spin, sometimes you'll like tap the hilt to get a clash every once in a while on purpose, but it was just happening.
That wasn't on purpose. Yeah, that wasn't on purpose on that one.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and do that part of it, then that would work out. Like on my test saber, I'm running the clash threshold at 3.0 because I got a super efficient 28 millimeter base in there that just rumbles the whole thing. So I'd bump it up to 3. Will it clash if you just barely tap it with your fingers, Space? Like the hilt itself?
Yeah, it's like a barely tap,
Like
right?
just the tips of your fingers. Will that cause it to clash on the hilt itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like 1.0.
Okay. Is that something I have to change for each font, or it's something that we change generally?
It's just like the Plector stuff. You just change it in general.
Oh, here we go. We got Mark here. This is the owner of this saber. He says, I just had to ask for 2 speakers, didn't I? Well, I think it's going to be fine. Like once I put a different, like it sounds awesome with your speaker in there, Mark. It's just that like it doesn't sound awesome right now because only 1 speaker's in. But it sounds incredible with your speaker. It's really good resonance, and in that pommel, there's a good amount of space. So I think once I put what do you recommend? The 8 ohm one that we got off eBay, you said, right? That's like the same size, so it'll work the same way as this, and it'll work with that 3 watt that we have in the forward part of the saber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because right now you're running at 2 ohms mono, and it's just too low. You're supposed to be between 4 and 8 ohms on Plector and on Plector and Proffie. You got to be in that sweet spot, or you can heat up the amplifier.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't push it too much. I just heard it happen a couple times, and I was like, I put the kill key back in. And I kind of realized it was just on retraction that it would do that. But I was like, oh, I got to fix this before moving forward,
Yeah, I probably should have asked you that when you first started having this problem, if you were running, 2 4s or 2 8s or an 8 and a 4. Because you can get away with an 8 and a 4. That'll drop you in around 6 ohms, and then you're still in the zone. Okay.
That's what I'll have to do. Because to get to that forward one, it's like I'd have to rewire the whole thing. So
yeah,
be pretty rotten. So hopefully... it'll just work out when I do the bottom one again. That'll be good.
Yeah, I think we can save the day with the 8 ohm eBay.
Okay. Oh, I gotta get. You know what? I gotta get a little poker. Give me 1 second. The way I remember how I used to have the stuff hanging out of the back of this.
Yeah.
Well, what I did was. There's a little, you're not gonna be able to see it, but I did put some little pull. I drilled 2 small holes in the Delrin, and then so I can grab that with a little tool. I'll show you.
You got to move the PCB out of the way so you can get to the SD or the USB access.
All I have to do is I'm just gonna grab the whole assembly, and it'll just pull out all at once, and then we just plug in.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so, but we probably don't have to do that just yet, right? I could look at the config that we're using because it's a file right here.
Yeah, it's up to you if you want to plug in and upload, re-upload, and make the change. And you're not even really going to be able to test it until you get that other 8 ohm in there.
Okay.
But
Well, the clash threshold and stuff will seem better when I'm swinging it around, right? That'll
Absolutely. Yeah, I think no matter what, you need to get, because you're running a rumble motor, you got to get it off of 1.0.
Tim McAndrew, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being
So,
here.
Tim,
Good to see you. Let's see here. So, you think that thing that was happening? I mean, I could do it for you if you want, but I think you said it might hurt the saber. But that
I wouldn't
thing
chance
that's
it.
like that's happening because of that ohm situation, huh?
I don't know. Usually when you heat up when you heat up an amplifier, if there's some type, if Frederick incorporated some type of protection in there where it knows, that there's too much current going through that amplifier.
Okay. Yeah, because it was like sounding great, and then it's like you try to turn it off, it goes, and it's like both speakers are not doing what they're supposed to. So I put the kill key in, or I would unscrew the bottom, and then when there was only one speaker, it would go back to working again. That was the situation.
Yeah, but it's a bass speaker, so it still could be a clash threshold issue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're moving a lot more air with that 28 millimeters bass and rattling the board. So no matter what, most of the time I move it. I don't have any of my Proffie-sabers set at 1 on the clash threshold just because it's so sensitive. There you go.
Oh, clash threshold 1.0. That's a problem, huh?
Yeah, well, that could be, part of it. I just don't understand why it's doing it on retraction. But I'd go ahead and make that a 3, and I think you'll be in the sweet spot. If you're still getting false clashes after that, you can go a little higher. I've not done a rumble motor. You're probably world's first on that one. A rumble motor on the Proffie. That's awesome. You're like the test guy, because there's a thread.
I thought you did rumble motor though before.
Not on a Proffie, no. I've been experimenting with a crystal chamber motor for Jeff's build, and so we were messing with the idea where he was like, instead of the crystal chamber motor spinning when the blade's ignited the whole time, wouldn't it be cool if when you did a clash or a blaster block or a lockup, that's when it started spinning, kind of like it's struggling,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I started kind of messing with.
Yeah, like you asked before, when it comes on, it's like I hit the button for the blade to come on, and now it's rumbling.
It's rumbling. And so when you do clash and lockup, does it start stuttering inside? Like is the motor...
The motors seem to change a little bit, and it's doing something else. Let me release that.
Yeah, I was just because I was curious in the stock configuration if it reacts.
Actually, I'm not. Wait, does it? Wait, let me see. Stop. I don't know. Actually, does it do something else? I don't know. I don't know about that one.
What happens when you just tap? What happens when you just tap blaster block? Can you feel it kind of like doing something in there?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's like it's a steady rumble. Now it's off, on again. It's a nice feel. It's a nice feel. I don't know if it's changing with the sounds though. Maybe.
No, it wouldn't be dynamic that way. It's strictly attached to whatever the lights are doing on the blade, the LEDs.
I don't know. I think I'm sensitive enough to feel something, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it's like pretty static.
Just blade on, blade off. Well, that's where that code that I emailed you. I'd be curious if
that'll change the way it works, right?
Perhaps. I'm pretty sure. Well, it did on all my tests where it would actually react to clash, lockup and blaster block. I had to generate a black and white code just for the motor, as in like on off black white. But that's something where we would have to reconfigure your config file, like you're running a tri-cree and a pixel blade at the same time. So that's some work. It's not something you can just add below the existing blade style code.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we'd have to go regenerate your config file and then copy paste.
Or maybe we
everything.
should do one thing at a time because
Absolutely. we've learned that lesson, right? But yeah, I'd go. Yeah, there you are. You're already at 3. Nice work.
Fed has a site that you could select your effects, etc., and generates the code for you. Yeah, we had Fed on the last show about Proffie. It was really a really awesome time, and yeah, you know what I'll do is after the video, I'll put those links again in the description here too. Like I put them in the last video description, just so that anyone looking for those can find them. But you guys need to subscribe to FET263 for all those awesome blade styles and stuff.
That was an awesome session.
Yeah, he actually just emailed and said he's not going to be around tonight because he's not getting home until a bit later.
Working for a living.
Okay, let me just go get my tool real quick. I got a little pull tool, and I will open this bottom of this up.
I'm gonna look at your config and see. Okay, so you got the volume at 1500.
Okay, so what I have here. Let's see if I have enough light here.
I'm curious, Space, is there a way for you to say kind of place your finger on the top of the board? Well, when it's ignited with both speakers running, I mean, I don't think you should do it because you don't want a chance freaking smoking that amplifier. But a lot of times, one of my tests is I'll just take my finger and put it on the amplifier chip after I've been running it for a little while, and it'll burn your finger if the impedance is too low. Like if you got a bad speaker and you're running at 2 ohms, that amplifier will get stupid hot.
I used one of these type of tools to stick in the little hole that I made, and then I pulled it out until it come out here.
Nice. I never thought about using a blade connector. That's actually genius.
I thought you're the one that gave me the idea of when you're working on Daria's saber, right? And you did something like that.
That's the 6-pin for the crystal chamber. Like the whole thing is going to be six connections.
Oh.
But I don't know. I just never thought about using a 3-pin for a speaker. But I don't know why. That's great.
I really ran out of room in this hilt because it's like one of these small little hilts. So I had to get think of different ideas when I got to the end.
I'm all about removable speakers and chassis, and so that's genius, man. Well done. And the idea that you did use the center pin and the outer ring, so there's no crossover.
Yeah,
because just in case.
Yeah, just in case, it didn't align properly. At least there's no danger.
Sure. Shorten the amp. Yeah, that static on retraction is still a bit of a mystery, but I think once you get the 8 ohm in there and your clash threshold's up to 3, it should work a lot smoother.
Yeah, because you know what? It's not that difficult to change the speaker in the pommel there, so I could probably do it in a couple of minutes.
Cool. Unless because you're kind of the first person I've talked to that's doing the rumble motor on a Proffie. I know they had a thread on open source, and Frederick was in there, and someone was asking about a rumble motor, and I read through the whole thing, and it's like no one had tried it yet, and so that's when I started experimenting with it and generated that black and white blade code for you. So I don't know if anyone's tested it out yet.
Well, you know what I was thinking too, let's say the rumble motor is kind of not liking the fact that there's 2 speakers. What I can do is disconnect the forward speaker, you know, via the board side, because I have access to the board, and just use like a bass speaker, because it sounds great with the bass speaker. It doesn't sound that great. It's nice to have the forward speaker, because at least when the pommel's off, you can still do all your testing and you could see all the sounds it makes. It's just not very impressive sound until you put the pommel back on. So if like worse comes to worse and it wasn't liking that, I could just go back to one speaker and just kind of that speaker will be in there, but just disconnected. You know, worse comes to worse.
Yeah, but I totally get the, you know, from Marc's perspective, I totally get the temptation to want two speakers in there, because it is really cool when you can have a second speaker up in the top half that's sort of shooting sound up towards the blade or radiating out around the hilt.
That's
versus
what I was
just
thinking.
everything coming out the bottom. So yeah, I've got it, that huge hilt that I sent you a picture of, that's like, you know, this massive. I'm gonna do like a full blown stereo system in that thing, coming out the top and the sides, and it'll probably have like, I don't know, 8 speakers in it. It's huge though, because I've always wanted to try that. And then I guess you're not really going to know about your volume until, you know, you get that other speaker in there and get it fired up. But with two speakers, you can push it pretty hard.
Like I went up to 1500 because I had the 2 speakers in at first, and I was like, it's not that impressive. It was at 1000. And then I put it to 1500. I was like, whoa, I love it. And then it like stopped retracting properly. I was like, what's going on? I switched the font. I was like, is it the font? Switched the font. It did it on every single font. So I was like, and I think that's when I asked you what was going on.
Yeah, well, when those 2 speakers like that are wired in parallel, you're running at 2 ohms mono. That amplifier is sucking more current than it normally would to try to keep up, and it's getting hot. And so with that, and then the rumble motor on top of that, it may just be too much power going through the board. I just don't understand why it's retraction. I think that's bizarre. But, you know, you never know what a piece of electronics like that's going to do until you load it up with all the toys, which is what you've done. It's going to be awesome.
Where did my kill key go? That's important. On the floor. All right, give me 1 second while I grab a kill key. Sorry for keep getting up on you guys.
No worries.
Something must have rolled off my desk. Oh, you know what? The kill key was in there. It's like my sunglasses on the top of my head.
That's that one that kind of disappears, though, right? Low profile.
Yeah.
Force cloak. So how hard did you say it would be to swap out that 28 millimeter bass speaker?
I could probably do it in a couple minutes. It's not hard.
Oh, yeah?
So maybe like...
You got to solder it though, right?
Play a video or something if you guys want to wait, and we could see if I could do it like while the stream is still going. Okay, so I'm going to compile. I'm going to get it in the card here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the two speakers thing is tricky in a Saber for sure. Back in the day when, I was installing car stereos for a living, when it came to bass, making a bass box. Nice. Oh yeah. I wonder if that, Mark, if you're in here, is that the JBL on eBay from, what's it called? Timely Rain? Is that the guys selling the JBLs on there? Those are pretty sweet. But I remember back in the day when we were doing, sub boxes and stuff like that, it usually always had to be the exact same speaker. And you either wired it in series or parallel, depending on what but it had to be two identical bass speakers.
Yeah, like so much of what I do is kind of experimental. I don't know it's always going to work.
Well, I built a Saber for my buddy Don in LA a few years back, and I did what you're doing. It's got the 28 millimeter flat speaker, premium speaker, and then it's got a 28 millimeter bass speaker in it as well. And it was a Graflex, and it was silly loud. But that was the first time I tried two different types of speakers, both 8 ohms. So we ended up at 4 ohms when I wired it in parallel. And he says it's still kicking. So he was my kind of experiment on that one.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It's just as loud as the day it was installed. So I know it works, but you got to use 2 8 ohms or an 8 ohm and a 4 ohm.
You're hoping. We're hoping, right?
Yeah. Nah, you should be good at 6 ohms, but it wouldn't. Well, that's right. You can't do it with you can't test the impedance across both speakers, but it'll be fine.
I think we're done uploading. Successful.
Download done. Where's my prize?
Delivered to your front door.
I actually contacted. Fernando and I were going back and forth before we had our session on your channel, and I was like, "Hey, Fernando, you think we could do something funny and generate a SpaceWIndu purple in the color chart?" Remember that? He was like, "Oh man, I gotta get into the main OS," and I was like, I just thought we'd try. That'd make him laugh.
Okay, got this almost apart.
What's really weird is Barbara and I started watching the Lord of the Rings series again, and literally the day we finished the trilogy, he came out with his Sauron's eye that same day, and I was like, "Cool, the Force is hard at work, even with Lord of the Rings." That was cool. Now we're going through all the Hobbits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the first Hobbit a lot.
Yeah, that's what we got halfway through it last night. 3 hours long. I'm like, he doesn't make any short movies, does he? We're trying to have the occasional movie night in quarantine still.
Yeah. Bump up your home theater.
Absolutely. Make the neighbors crazy.
Oh, he got the JBL speaker from Ethan Zimmer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are sweet if you're running them by themselves. Or you got another one that's, 8 ohms. If the little thin speaker were 8 ohms, it would be all right.
Yep, it says on the back 4 ohms. I couldn't read that in the picture, but I could read that it said 2 watt. I thought it had said like 4 watt before. I guess I got it confused, but yeah, it says 4 ohm, 2 watt. It did sound good when it was on, and it's still fine. It's just not working well with the setup. So we'll switch it out. Now, if I could have fit well, no, it would still been the same depending on which 28 millimeter I put up front, but I couldn't get the 28 millimeter up front. So
yeah, that's a lot
really.
to ask. I had to redesign the whole removable magnetic crystal chamber in that Sabercraft Big Boy to fit a second 28 in there. So it's asking a lot of a saber.
I had Daria actually ask me about that saber. How's it looking?
It's doing really good. I finally figured out how to get the 228s in there. I'm about to do well, yeah, go ahead and send them any update, videos I send you.
Yeah, I was gonna send him one of those ones where you showed me like the magnet, and I was like, I emailed him. I was like, I got this video. I'm gonna have to send it to you, but I have to find it in my phone. Like I said, my phone's got like 1,000 pictures in it.
Well, I think I don't know how hard it'd be to get to, but you've got video of it where like the magnet lifts it up off the arm of the chair.
I know. Yeah.
And I think that was in
I think you were like shaking it.
Yeah. I think that was in our very first Proffie lesson where we were trying to get your Mac all installed with the Arduino software and everything.
Okay.
I think, yeah,
I'll look at that video. Out, maybe that's where it was. I think you sent me something via the phone though too, like earlier that day or something.
Yeah.
And I always save those videos. It's just
does he know I'm getting rid of the plastic part and I'm putting an all metal up front in it?
I don't think so. I don't remember how much I told him.
Yeah.
I don't think I told him that.
I want to do that one justice because I love mine and I got a huge freaking crush on that saber. It's beautifully crafted.
It is.
And so I'm going full tilt on all metal construction. I just was like, man, you got this back half with this beautiful all metal crystal chamber, and then in the front, a piece of plastic. I was like, So I'm just redesigning that from scratch, and so hopefully he freaks because it's going to be all metal internals.
Yeah, like the parts I saw were so nice.
I'll send you some updates tomorrow where I'm at. You can shoot them to him. Matter of fact, you don't even have to dig for that video clip. I'll do the magnetic trick just on a short clip and text it to you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to move my position to the soldering station. Let me see if I might be able to keep audio, but let me see if I could. I don't know if I have a camera that's on that area. Okay.
Are those 8-ohm bass speakers we got off of eBay? Is that your only stock of 8-ohm bass speakers? Because they're hard to find.
Actually, let me go look. Yeah, because I think that was my only 8-ohm ones. But let me just go look at my speaker drawer again real quick. I have to take my headphones off.
I haven't been able to find. KR might have had them a while ago. 8-ohm bass speakers.
Okay, I've got These, which is we got off eBay,
Yep, those are the ones.
they say
Yeah.
high bass, 8 ohm, 2 watt. I think is this the same exact one?
Yeah.
It says 8 ohm, 2 watt, but it's a different.
Oof. I'm not a huge fan of the Vecos, man. They just don't have the clarity that I like. But yeah.
Here's a KR Sabers.
Is that an 8 ohm?
8 ohm, 2 watt.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that was the one I was talking about. Can I see the front of that one? Is it a foam surround or rubber surround? I think that's the one I was talking about that he carried. Oh, and maybe he still does. I haven't.
I think it's rubber.
Yeah, nice. Wow. Heck yeah.
What does that look like to you? Let me make my screen bigger.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
The feel is like a rubber. Get some light
Yeah.
on that.
That's pretty sweet. How long ago did you get that?
Probably 2 years.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. He was stocking some 8 ohm bass speakers. I haven't looked in a while to see if he's got any more, but it's a difficult find. But that is the only way you can really run 2 speakers.
Should I try the KR? Do you think that's a good one? Here's another. Oh, that's a Vico again. Okay. What is this one? Oh, this is the one that was in there. All right.
How do you feel about the Vico bass speakers? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of them for some reason.
I've had a couple fail. I don't like that.
Exactly. Yep. That's what I was just gonna say.
I hate when they fail if it's like an intricate build where they're deep up in there.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Exactly. I mean, with these newer, bigger, more powerful amplifiers in the Proffie and the CFX, it's now easier to blow speakers.
Mm.
But when you get the right one, it's night and day in the way it sounds. Especially if you're able to get it up, around 2,500 on the Proffie. That's 2.5 watts ish. It's loud.
What is like your Saber set at for that number? Like 15 or a 1900 you told me or something like that?
Well, what's interesting is that you can use it just depends. I could use my ear to kind of hear when it starts to distort. I'll go up, 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 and then when I'll use like kind of a bassy font, a real full range sounding font, and I'll use my ear to listen to when it's starting to distort, and then I just back off by like 100 or 200, and then I know that's kind of the sweet spot. What's interesting about a 4 ohm speaker versus an 8 ohm speaker is with an 8 ohm speaker, because you have higher resistance, you can use more power. So you can kind of use more of that 3 watt threshold on a CFX or a Proffie by bumping it up to a full 2,500 in the config on a Proffie. So it just depends on whether or not you're working with a 4 ohm or 8 ohm, where you're going to set that volume control. And I have a 4 ohm that's super efficient that I have on 1100, and it hurts my ears. So
Whoa.
It just all, the speakers just really doesn't require a lot of power to be loud. So yeah, I just have to trust my ear.
So every single time you put a speaker with the Proffie board, you do the 8 ohm.
No, I'll do
speaker?
both. I'll do a 4 ohm or an 8 ohm. But when you use the 8 ohm, you can go to more like 2,500 to 3,000, and you don't have to worry about blowing it. Whereas if you use a 4 ohm, you probably shouldn't go over 2,000, because that will probably blow it. So I honestly prefer the 8 ohm speakers because, for instance, if a customer wants Dimitri's Force Sync app and the Bluetooth chip installed on the app, there's a volume control. And if your customer accidentally turns that volume control up to 3,000 and it's got a 4 ohm speaker in it, you're going to blow that speaker eventually. So I've learned recently that it's safer to use an 8 ohm speaker, because if they turn that volume all the way up to 3,000 on the Force Sync app, where they're running it wirelessly via Bluetooth, there's less danger of you blowing that 8 ohm speaker versus a 4 ohm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm totally nerding out here on speakers, but that's what I do.
Shadow's Born says, I think it feels like rubber as well.
Yeah, he's got one. Yeah, those are sweet. I'd like to know if he's still carrying them.
I love his store.
Absolutely.
It's
Great
incredible.
website. Yeah. My favorite is the one that I put in Brad's saber. I've only got like 2 more of those left. That was such a good speaker.
I love the way that looked too.
Uh-huh. How it's got the perforations around the rubber surround.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks mean. I think I told you I got that bench power supply that Irv reviewed in,
Well,
right?
you told me you ordered it. I didn't know that it came in already. I
Yeah.
don't think. Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really small, lightweight. It's badass. It's 32 watts, 6 amps. It's pretty cool. I like it.
And like, does that cover the power supply that you needed for something?
Yeah, it does. I feel like I can kind of do anything with it, especially with sabers and lithiums and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet.
I figured if Irv was using it, it had to be the best one.
Yeah, I think it was a sponsored review. They actually sent him one for free and was like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, test it out for us. Let us know what you think. And he put it on YouTube, and I was like, I'm sold. If Irv thinks it's cool, I think it's cool.
We sold at least one.
Yeah. You can get it on Amazon. So my old one died years ago, and it was like old school, like military style. I actually have a little battery pack I made out of a cheap battery holder that has 3 AA batteries in it, and that's what I was using to light up LEDs and just test things, because it had come out to be like 4.2 volts little battery pack instead of buying a bench set power supply. I was like, you know what? I should probably get another one of those. So thanks for that link.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of saving up for is it called Haku or something? It's like a soldering iron that like Vader's vault uses. I heard that, and ever since I heard that, I wanted one of those.
Yeah, they're beefy.
They got on Amazon, but it's like 500.
Oh, you're looking at the really nice one. Are you getting the one that comes with the heat flow station? Is that why?
It looks like it's just the soldering station.
Oh, damn.
It's like $470 or $490.
Holy. Yeah, the one I had my eye on was like $175, but
okay.
I don't think it came with, because there's different models, but
like I heard you could just get the gun itself. I might do that, just to have the actual gun as that brand. But this is like the station and the gun. Right.
So it's got the same cannon plug as your soldering station now.
I'm actually not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. But I heard people say like, oh, I don't buy the whole thing. I just buy, or they said they buy the tips or something like that. They buy the certain tips.
Yeah, most of the soldering, like the serious digital programmable soldering stations, are going to universal tips, which is nice. Yeah, that'll probably be my next soldering station. This one's been good to me for about a year. I remember the days of just buying the cheap Radio Shack ones for $30 that you just plug in and it heats up. There's no you don't even get anything to rest it on. It's just
that's what I would use just for like household repairs.
Exactly.
Before I learned saber stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and then you learn temperature control rules.
Yeah. That's kind of the first thing I found out. Like, why isn't this working right. It's like, well, what soldering station are you using? It's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And then I have to figure it out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you can fry stuff if your soldering iron's too hot and quickly, or fry stuff when it's too cold because you're having to hold it on there too long. As you know.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
But I can't wait to see, because you're definitely my my testing grounds for this whole rumble motor thing, man. Because I've always liked rumble motors, but going back many years before Irv kind of put the rumble motor detection software in his boards, they would cause a lot of issues if they were too close to the board. I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
And
I kind of demanded a rumble motor in my personal saber that Darth Chasm made for me, the Jedi Assassin, and I just love having a rumble motor.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't get used too much anymore. And so hopefully we'll bring it back, right?
Well, I think they're kind of like, it's like they don't work well for every build because you have to kind of do it right. And I don't know, everybody wants a rumble motor, but it's not always like done right. And I think that's why people try to talk other people out of getting it.
Yeah, that happened with that build that I did for Don, my buddy in LA. He wanted a rumble motor, and he was using a petite crouton, and that was before Irv had kind of built into the software that sort of vibration rumble motor detection. And I messed with it. I could not get it to do false clashes no matter what I did. And so I said, hey, if we put 2 speakers in this thing, it was a Graflex. So we put 2 speakers in this thing, we can get real close to a rumble motor. And so that's what we did. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, oh my gosh, the hilt is vibrating from the sound. This is so cool.
I like that too. And I think a lot, as soon as this 2-watt bass speaker came out, what is 5 or 6 years ago, everyone started using a version of a 2-watt bass speaker. Then you did have a vibration coming from the speaker.
Yeah, and especially if you got. That's why I can't wait to see what happens with this big boy that I got the 2 28mm bass speakers in there. Is that thing gonna just rumble in your hand? We'll see. Without a rumble motor.
This is one of the times where I need 3 hands.
Right. So for everyone in the chat who's listening, I think I promised on Facebook we were going to talk about rumble motor installation. And basically what Space has done is on your Proffie, you have 6 output pads. Usually 1, 2, and 3 are reserved for your Neopixel blade. And then 4, 5, and 6, you can run a tri-cree, like an LED blade. But you can also run a rumble motor off of that. And so what we haven't figured out yet is just out of the box, without doing any additional programming, when you connect it to pads 4, 5, and 6, I think I said that right?
Yeah.
It will automatically react to, the rumble motor will automatically react to blade ignition. But what Space and I haven't figured out yet is just out of the box, will it react to blaster, clash, and lockup? So we'll get there. But that's kind of how you do it, is utilize those other 3 pads on the other side of the board, opposite pads 1, 2, 3, to wire up a rumble motor, just as long as it's not a stupid powerful one that's gonna shake the heck out of the chassis and make it impossible to tune it, and that it's not drawing too much power. So hopefully that's not what's causing that the speaker distortion on retraction. So we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah, the rumble motor may have been one that you recommended. It was a while back that I got it.
Was it like a cell phone size one, or a little beefier than that?
a little smaller, like like the ones for like a beeper were like cylindrical. This was like a little disc.
Oh yeah, like the silver disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those are nice because they're high frequency, and they don't have the counterweight on there. Those are the ones that will cause problems.
Yeah, those are the ones that'll like if they get loose, they'll bounce around your hilt and stuff like that.
Right. Now the discs ones are nice because they're all encased. You don't see the moving parts.
One more connection, we should be good.
I hear that soldering station sprang.
Thanks for hanging with us while we do this.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna work. I think I can.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to go over the double speaker thing too, because that's not an easy thing to master. And then you've got, series versus parallel, which either ups your impedance or lowers your impedance, and there's a little bit of simple math involved to get it to work well with the amplifier. Which one did you decide to go with?
This is the KR.
Cool.
You can see what this is like. You say this is a good one that you've been looking for, so we'll try it out.
Yeah, just for fun, maybe hit it with the multimeter before you screw it back in the pommel. Always like to know.
It's climbing 7.3, 7.4.
Probably because the voice coil is cooling off. If you just soldered it, it'll change fluctuations and expansion. That's funny.
Let me test one of these VCOs.
That's fine. If you're at 7 point anything, you'll be fine.
Oh, the VCO went to 7.8 real quick. Like you said, maybe it's because it's like the coil's hot. Okay.
Yeah, they heat up pretty quick when you hit those contacts. Anyway, just for shits and giggles, to test the little speaker in the front, can you get to the board where the connections before you, so we can just see what that one's doing all by itself?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, you know what? Let me grab.
I don't know if the board's out in the open on that build. It should be fine because if it was like stupid low out of tolerance, the smaller of the two speakers, it might not work at all if there's any protection on that amplifier. So it should be fine.
I just lost track of my, like that electronics tape. I just need a little piece of it to cover the board before I shove it back in, and I'm like, I've lost track of it.
Kind of yellow heat shrinky tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. It's a lot of steps to sabering. Oh, look who we got here. We got Mega 26.
What's up, Tom? Might have to do some blade style adjusting. Nice.
Anybody wants the link, just let me know. I will put the link in the chat. Anybody could come in and talk to us. Throwing more juice to the stuff you want to react the most. Like the vibe motor, maybe, or the certain speaker.
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been in the chat, Tom, but that's kind of what we're wondering is if okay. Yeah, we don't know if the rumble motor is messing with electrically wise with other functions on the board.
It didn't seem so to me, and until I tried to start messing with the second speaker.
Yeah, now that we got your impedance in the pocket on the speakers, if it's still doing it, even after bumping the clash threshold to 3, we may have to desolder that rumble motor temporarily just to test that side of it. You just need to desolder one lead, and then we'll just see what happens.
True.
So, Tom, has anyone else successfully put a rumble motor in a Proffie? We're trying to find out if space is pushing world first here.
If so, I'll have to make that the title of the video so we can get some more views. World's first.
I know. That's so funny.
Okay. Almost there. Fighting with a roll of tape. It's these simple things.
I'm just impressed we haven't heard any cussing through that whole thing you just did. I wonder if Tom's talking about, adjusting how much power goes to what FETs on the MOSFETs type of thing. Because, Tom, what I did was just generated a black and white blade style code for like a tri-cree. And so the black and white acted as like on off for the rumble motor. The blade styles will affect it. Right. And so what I did was pasted my black and white blade style code on if it were running like a tri-cree as well as a pixel blade. And so then I could control exactly what the rumble motor did on clash, lockup, blast. And so I didn't know if that's what you meant, or is there another way to sort of have total control of the rumble motor?
The Jedi are taking over.
Mm. Don't let them kill me. Who knew Sidious could get so whiny?
It was all an act, though, right?
Yeah, right. Sith sympathy.
Okay, so we want to see it first with the first speaker. Clash threshold is what we're kind of checking, right? Let's see. Oops.
Yeah, buddy.
I think it's a lot better.
Yeah, because I remember just you spinning it in your chair before was causing clashes. So I think you're way better off. So the speaker thing it was doing was guaranteed it would do it every time you go retraction?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I changed font, and then like certain that's why I'm kind of thinking. I wonder if what Tom's saying about the blade style thing is like doing something, because certain fonts would like that crackling or that speaker problem would happen before the retraction, and so like it would work for a couple seconds, then it would happen before the retraction.
Yeah, because it's using like those Tri-Cree LED outputs, the FETs that can, FET whatever, 4, 5, add 4, 5, 6 to control that rumble, depending on what the default blade style is with no copy paste programming. Yeah, what's that going to do to the rumble motor? That sounds too loud.
It turned off. It turned off. Nice, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, very reactive. Let's go to Darth Maul.
I was gonna say let's ignite and retract on every font.
Something happened there. Something happened there, like before.
And that's a red blade. You sure you didn't double tap the power? Because that'll mute it.
Oh, maybe I did. Something. Yeah, I hit the power button strangely.
Yeah, I've done that a billion times.
I like the way the Darth Maul. I haven't heard the Darth Maul like this yet. Like I could hear the two blades.
That's a wicked font. Is that Jesse?
It was like 5 or 6 fonts from Kyberphonic. It's very possible. Marc, is Maul from Kyberphonic? Wow.
Now you're feeling the bass.
Oh yeah. And you know what? Well, I don't know if it's the speaker or the
Right.
the mic motor, but it's vibrating.
Because you got some bass up in there now.
I hear something. You hear that?
You kicked on the music.
Oh. What do you do? Hit the activation? Oh no, wait, music went off. I guess I don't know how to work this.
For music, you mean? Yeah, 2-button on.
Huh.
On 2-button, I believe you. I'm always doing 1-button. On 2-button, I believe you hit and hold power for like 2 seconds and then release, and it should start the music. But I just wanted to see if it successfully powers and retracts on every font.
Yeah.
Without, because so far so good on the speaker, right?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Hey, you know what? I grabbed a tweezer because it looked like I was like losing the power button. The power button on this little chip. Did you get any of these from Etsy?
Is it the double?
Yeah, the double. The power button just fell in.
Dope. Yeah, I know what style you're talking about. Damn it, man.
That sucks.
That
I
does
think
suck.
I think I just used a little heat. If I used a little heat right there, maybe I could pull that up and kind of fix that.
Is that the style where the tactiles are glued into place on the bottom side?
I think so. Yeah. I might have another one. Let's see if I have like a second one that I could just compare to. I think I bought 2 of them. That way, if I need to replace it, I could just kind of put a new one there. But
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Those double switches versus the doorbell.
what's a doorbell?
The illuminated old school ones.
Oh,
That's like the joke. Ding dong.
yeah.
I mean, I've got them on my test saber and stuff. They're actually very useful, but they're on so many other things. It's kind of hard to say, oh, well, this is so Star Wars when it's an illuminated button.
True.
I like the uniqueness of like, the button style you're using.
Or like, just the idea of like a hidden button is kind of cool.
Right.
Because it kind of seems more like the movie.
Agreed. Did we lose Tom in the chat? Just curious if he's known of anyone to test it out.
Tom,
here we
Rumble
go.
White colors for all the clash, blast, and lockups, and the rumble motor will spin faster. Then for the blade ignited, use really low power single colors that should differentiate. Oh, differentiate it like you want.
Like you want.
Oh, so he says before that, he says, say you define 4, 5, 6 as RGB, which is what we did, I think.
Yep.
On any white color, you'll have more voltage going through those FETs. So if you create the blade style for that, rumble motor, use white colors. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of things to know, isn't there?
Well, I'm curious, Tom. Oh, cool. I'm curious, Tom. Have you experimented with this? Because when I did it, if I used any other color other than white, or black for like on off, type of thing for the rumble motor, I couldn't get the rumble motor to react at all. So like I would just try to use red, thinking the same thing you're saying, that it's less current and voltage because it's one color versus 3 colors on white. Does it, like, have you messed with it? I'm just curious if you've actually gotten that to work, because I could not. I'd love to know that. But I could get it to fluctuate. It was really cool. Like on lockup, since that white is flickering on lockup, the motor would literally, be fluctuating on lockup. It was such a cool thing. But I haven't been able to get the individual red, green, or blue to do anything, or any mixture of those, just literally black and white only. So all on and all off.
This is the back of one of these. So that's the front.
Yep.
That's the back. What do you think happened? Like it, let me see if one of them fell out.
What is on the back of that? What is it looking like?
Literally just the bottom of.
Is it hot glue, or is it super glue, or is it?
Man, not enough, huh?
Nah, tactile. You're pushing the hell out of it. So, okay, I can kind of see the legs. It's the low profile brass tacks.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I'd almost be tempted to beef it up with.
Yeah, I'll have to put a backing on it. I didn't realize. I thought it was ready to go. And I just had the button sink in for a second. I was like, what's going on? And then I got up to get a little tweezer, and then it fell in completely.
Cool disc they mounted it on. I don't think I've seen that style. Was that Saber Bay?
It might be. It's on Etsy.
Nice.
Tom has not messed with rumble motors.
Okay.
He's smart. Tom equals smart.
That's right. Yeah.
Since I don't think y'all are seeing my comments live. We're not.
If you have some time, Tom, I know your plate's full, but I really would like to, even if you want to private message me on Facebook or otherwise, I'd really like to know if you get around to messing with the rumble motors, I'd love to know what you found out, because I could not get variations of colors to work, which I agree with you. It would be cool if you could change the intensity. But for me, it was just kind of an on-off thing. Black and white only. And so I would build a blade style for a tri-cree, type of thing, where I was thinking in terms of tri-cree, where I'm trying to remember the one that I used. I think it was just a simple blade type of thing that had, everything clash, lock up out of the style generator. And that worked really well. And then if I reversed black and white, it would do opposite, which was great. Because the rumble motor, you'd only feel it it wouldn't do on ignition when the blade's on, but it would rumble on clash, blast, and lock up only. So that was kind of trippy.
I got it open. I think I'll be able to fix it pretty easily. So
cool.
All right. So I think we only had, what was it, 30 seconds with it working properly before the button fell off?
The button fell off.
Oh, man. But, okay. I think it's working.
Better now than later.
Yeah. I didn't know there was going to be a part 4 of working on Marc's Saber, but maybe there's actually going to be a part 5.
It's teaching us some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think at the end of this, I'll be maybe a quarter as smart as Tom, and that would be enough for me. That will be enough for me if I could understand that much about Proffie.
Agreed. Did he post some more stuff?
Yeah, how was your blade defining the config? Well, I had 2 different fonts up. I had Let me show you.
Yeah,
I
right now.
had ESB and
There
Maul.
you go. Right now, Tom, he's just running the config like a single blade. And so pads 4, 5, and 6 are just reacting stock out of the box. And it's working. But we don't know yet if it's reacting to blast, clash, and lockup.
Mark says 2020 in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh.
No, this is going to be done. Like, this has got to be done like tomorrow. This can't wait. This can't wait till the end of the year, right? We have to finish this now.
I think we got it.
I think we got it. Like right before the button fell in, Mark, I think it was working properly. Certainly it wasn't turning off like it was before. So I think Jedi Arms Dealer was right about that ohm situation. Now that we're running like an average of 6 ohms throughout both speakers, if that makes sense. Like I think that it sounded good. You know what? It wasn't as loud as that JBL though. I'm telling you that JBL. I mean, maybe it's because I have these headphones on. I couldn't hear. I was like, the microphone was picking it up maybe, but I couldn't hear as much. But before, when that JBL was in there, it was so loud. It was amazingly loud.
Well, that's because that's a 4 ohm speaker, so it's going to be more efficient. That's going to be a louder speaker at the same wattage output from the Proffie. So now that you've got that 8 ohm and the 4 ohm in there, and you're running an average of 6 ohms ish, you can probably go to 2000 on your volume.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, but because the 8 ohms higher resistance, so it's not able to accept as much power because there's more resistance. So I would go to 2000 and listen to it, and just listen to that smaller speaker to see if it's distorting on the bass tones.
Okay.
And if it is, then you're probably going to want to back off a little bit because distortion kills. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's do like a final. Like I'll go fix the buttons. Maybe, I don't know, you doing anything like Friday or tomorrow? You know, maybe we'll
sabers.
We'll come back and we'll just like do, if it's all working all right, everything's good, we'll just show it, we'll talk about it, we'll have a good time. If something's still wrong, we'll try to fix it, try to get Mark's box packed up this weekend if possible. That'd be really awesome for Mark to have the Saber next week. Wouldn't that be great? I wanted to ship it out like it was like May 20th. I thought I was going to ship it out. And then it was like June 6th. I thought I was shipping it out. And then it was June 15th. I thought I was shipping it out. And
yeah,
I want to make sure it works properly when he pulls it out of the box.
Yeah, COVID's messed me up in ways I never thought possible. So, I'm running behind.
Yeah, it's like you would think that things like more things would happen if you could stay home, but it's like certain things are harder to get. And
yep. That's exactly what it's been for me. So Tom says that, as I said, there was a thread about it on the TRA.
Which is what you were talking about before, and I think he puts the link. What does he put here?
Oh, here we go. Color 8, GRB power pins, blade power 2, power 3. Simple blade BTR Cree.
This is a rumble motor config.
So Tom, has anyone messed with it and been able to get variations of colors to work on the rumble on the thread? Because I can't remember if I saw it.
I'll have to take a look at that thread.
Yeah, I can't remember if I saw it.
I read through a really long thread on a TRA that really helped me at the beginning when I was dealing with Proffie, dealing with the Proffie for Steve. It was like a 70-page Proffie thread on the TRA that really helped me when I read through it. So I'll go read through this one about the rumble motor.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the thread that I saw was open source or TRA, but if you set up your blade defines like that, then you have Neopixel on FETs 2 and 3. And RG, yep. Okay. Yeah, I still want to know, though, if anyone's verified for sure that it'll react to, single colors, the rumble motor. So I couldn't get it to do it. But maybe I need that code he just pasted.
Oh, that's what Frederick suggested. Try to find a link, but I'm getting packed to move. Yeah, no worries, Tom. I'll be struggling with this for a while, you know. We'll be struggling with this for the rest of the lifetime. We just bought white Proffies, red Proffies. We're gonna have Proffies for Christmas and green, and
yeah, and I think
stop
there was
by
some...
to see us. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining in, helping us out. I think you illuminated a lot of stuff for us, and now I have to go do some research about that. But so far so good with the rumble motor. From what I could tell, it's like, you know, we talked about it a couple shows back that it's like the Proffie somehow senses like what you're doing and friendly to you. I don't know.
It's got AI built into it.
It does.
So I'm curious, Space, when you go to test it, is there access to that rumble motor to where you could put your finger on it and literally like tap the aux button for blast and then do a lockup and see if it's reacting?
Maybe with the button open like this, when I put the new button in, it's right behind there. So yeah,
there you go.
I can like put a tool right there or something like that. But also from what Tom is saying about the colors is that I'll sense it more if the colors are set that way.
Right. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I'd love to know if it's reacting. I think it should be. I bought a white and
You guys both think alike.
Yeah, I actually saw him on there. He picked some up, and I was just like, I gotta have a couple whites and a red one for sure for Sif. Cool, man.
Awesome. So I got to do another stream in a little bit on my Comic Book Creation Live channel. Every Wednesday I do one of those at 10. But we can come back and do more of this. Maybe I'll fix the buttons, you know, tomorrow, and then maybe we come back tomorrow if you want, or Friday or something like that. See if we can prove to the world that this is going to work. All 10. All 11 fonts.
Yeah, and you're doing some crazy stuff by having two different speakers in there. So, you know, that's epic.
I always liked the way two speakers sounded. I don't know why.
I totally agree.
Even if it was like almost like barely audible, like on my Qui-Gon that I built, and I got two speakers in there, and it's like I just was proud that I could put two speakers in a Qui-Gon. It's really hard to do, but it's like I don't know that I could tell really, but it's like I think I could tell. You know, it's like okay, I think I can tell. So I like that. And the way you do two speakers is amazing, like where they're like the two 28s back to back. I think that's where you get the best of the best feedback and also the best sound. Unfortunately, it just wasn't possible in like the length of this one here.
Yeah, you gotta have a big saber. You can really do it in a Graflex or something, you know, around that size.
And it kind of came with a chassis already that we were trying to keep using, so that precluded the idea of like adding a second speaker that way. I had to get creative, so I put it, you know, up by the where the buttons are.
Right. Yeah, definitely do the old finger touch test on the rumble motor. I really want to know if it's reacting out of the box. That'd be cool to know. And then, yeah, let's do this again.
Awesome. All right, Jedi Arms Dealer, thank you so much. You are
thank you, Space.
An incredible Jedi.
Likewise, man. Always thanks for having me on. It's fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to, you know, chat about some other like Saber news at the beginning, because there's a lot of Saber stuff going on. We could do a whole show where we just talk about Saber news and stuff. So
yeah, it's a good time to be into it for sure. People are going nuts out there. I love it.
I was so happy to get that box like instantaneously with like, and I bought some hookup wire. I bought some LEDs from just to see what's going on. I bought some of those Proffies. Super happy with that. So that was a lot of fun too. And we'll see what happens with those
pixel strips off of there.
Yeah, I got some pixel strips. I want to see how they work.
Yeah,
you know, I'll build a blade off of that. I got like Gabe coming over. He wants to build like a TriStar and stuff. So I wanted to have some of the other
35,
less
35s.
expensive 35s on hand that we could build some TriStars for ourselves and just kind of put them in like other blade tubes, like an amber or a. I think Gabe wants a blue one, so put it in a blue tube. I don't think anyone's ordered a blue one yet. So like, I don't really know, what those test as and stuff like that on the meter. So we'll build one and kind of see how it works.
Cool.
All right, thank you everyone that joined us in the chat, and everyone that's going to watch this video later. I hope that it helps you with your Proffie or informs you a little bit about lightsabers in general. And like we said, we had a great time. Come back and join us probably like tomorrow or Friday. And then after that, I'll do some live streams like building Malcolm Saber and trying to get a couple more things out the door, like the Goodman Quai, which unfortunately this saber working on tonight is like holding up my progress with the Goodman Quai. So we got to finish this one and get on to a couple other things. So
you still got that saber, the Goodman Quai?
Yeah, I've been trying to finish it. Oh. It's like I have, well, I put the CF9 in it like last year or whatever it was. And it changed owners, and the new owner
again
CF10 with the Neopixel. So I'm like almost there. I was actually going to call you the other day because I have an issue where there's like some accent LEDs and I can't get 2 of them to light up. And I was just going to kind of cry to you and, stop and ask you like what your advice is. But this one kind of takes precedence because I'm closer to finishing this one. So I want to finish this one, get it to Marc. Then if there's really something wrong with the Quai, I'll cry about it to you. We'll see. I'll see if you have ideas about it. I'm thinking like a wire came loose inside, but I have to finish this one first, like I said. But you know how it is.
Oh yeah, baby steps, man. Baby steps. Padawan steps, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Got to start from the beginning, but we're getting it, man. That's a major improvement. So
definitely.
Well done.
I think huge strides tonight. I'll fix the button and we'll come back.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you like what I do here on SpaceWIndu channel? You might like my second channel. It's called Comic Book Creation Live. And that's where I work on my latest comic book, Albatross Junction, with my friend Kevin. We do a live show every single Wednesday. You might want to drop by and check it out. It's a really cool story that is sort of like Star Wars in some ways. There's some space travel, there's a lot of action, alien creatures, monsters, and future Earth, maybe over 1,000 years into the future. So go check out Comic Book Creation Live.